And welcome to the Forex Market Wrap brought to you by Pepperstone. It's Wednesday the 16th of August 2017 and I'm Darren Sinden. Right, let's take a look at overnight changes, price moves to be aware of. I just want to focus on a couple of points yesterday. Firstly, the weakness in sterling after those inflation numbers manifested here in cable and lower down on the table in sterling Swissy. I think really the move said more about the market expectations than it did about the economic data, but the path of least resistance was clearly downward. And then the other comment or point I'd like to make is this, another move in the dollar index here, 93.8460, the close in New York. So that leads me on to this question. Is the US dollar staging a comeback? And here I've drawn a chart of the US dollar index in green against euro dollar in the red and green candles. A little bit of support in here. In that blue dotted line for the euro, be an area to watch closely. It also coincides with this orange line, which is the 20-day EMA line for the euro. And down at the bottom, dollar index just staging a rally, all early. Early days in terms of any larger move, but just something that I would keep an eye on over the coming days and perhaps into next week as well. Okay, what's on the calendar today? What events may move the market? Well, a fairly busy calendar. I cut it down here with just some of the higher impact events. At 8:30 GMT, we start with some unemployment data in the UK, data for the 3 months to June. Then half an hour later, we have the first of our heavyweight data items this morning, which is GDP reads for Q2 for the Eurozone. Moving on to 12:30 GMT and switching across the Atlantic to the US, we will have housing starts, building permits change, and the housing starts change are all for July in the USA. And then at 6 o'clock GMT, 7 o'clock London time, probably the highlight of the day, the release of the FOMC minutes. That's the minutes from the last Federal Reserve interest rate meeting. Obviously, those minutes will be closely scoured for any hints about what the Fed will do next. And then to finish the day at 23:50 GMT, we have Japanese trade balance data, foreign investment and foreign bond investment. Again, that will be closely watched in the light of recent GDP figures from Japan. Okay, breaking news and comment that's caught my eye this morning. First of all, the UK proposes an open border with Ireland without any physical barriers as part of its Brexit negotiations. Staying with trade, talks on amending the NAFTA trade agreement kick off in Washington DC today. President Trump has previously said, though, that he was prepared to leave the North American trade deal. And a quite strange announcement that I caught my eye this morning. A German constitutional court has referred the ECB QE programme to the European Union courts, saying that QE may in fact violate EU laws on monetary financing. So that's a breaking story, but one to keep an eye on, I'm sure. Right, food for thought, something to take away with you into the trading day. Think about this, please. US and Chinese relations have been under stress lately over areas such as North Korea and Chinese trade practices, and yet the two world powers rely heavily on each other, and we can see this in the fact that China has once again become the largest owner of US Treasury bonds, displacing Japan according to data released from the US Treasury. And you can see China in this dark red line crossing over and above the Japanese holdings. Right, thank you for your time today. Please take a moment to consider the risk warning. Trading CFDs and FX on margin can be a risky business. If you're in any doubt about the risks involved or have any other questions about our products or services, then please contact your Pepperstone account representative.